Ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. The Democrat Party's worst nightmare just came true. John Fetterman justified Chuck Schumer, sided with Republicans, and sent Washington into total chaos. That's right, guys. The same senator that they thought that they had in their back pocket just shocked the entire Capitol with one vote that exposed everything that they've been hiding. And the meltdown? Oh, it's nuclear. Schumer's grip is slipping, the media is losing its mind, and President Donald J. Trump is sitting back with the biggest grin you've ever seen, dropping memes, trolling Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and humiliating them on the world stage. Now, tonight, we're going to break it all down for you guys. Chuck Schumer is just so mad. With Fetterman's revolt, Chuck Schumer's collapse, Mike Johnson is torching ABC, and Trump, he is turning the shutdown battle into the Democrats' funeral march. Buckle up, guys, because what you're about to hear, this is the kind of political earthquake that the fake news media will never admit, but America can't stop talking about it. Hit the like button, subscribe, folks. So the cracks inside the Democratic Party, they're exploding into the open. You can't even avoid them. Washington is in chaos. The swamp is shaking. And the so-called leaders of the left, they can't even keep their house together. And so at the center of it all, believe it or not, is John Fetterman. Yes, the same John Fetterman that the Democrats once paraded around as their working class champion has just thrown the biggest grenade into Chuck Schumer's lap. And folks, this isn't some minor little vote here. This isn't a symbolic gesture. This is a U.S. senator standing up, defying his own party, and siding with Republicans at the exact same moment that Chuck Schumer needed him the most. The media doesn't want to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it today because this is the day Fetterman defied the Democrats and left the entire establishment reeling. So here's what was really at stake. The government was just hours away from shutting down. That means federal workers' paychecks, veteran services, Social Security offices, everything Americans depend on thrown into chaos. Democrats wanted to use that threat as leverage. Chuck Schumer was demanding a continuing resolution stuffed with all of his party's priorities. So what were those priorities? Well, we're talking about benefits for illegal immigrants, more funding for pet projects, and zero accountability for Washington's reckless spending. But Republicans, backed by President Donald J. Trump, they weren't budging. They held firm. No blank checks for Democrats, no more shutdown blackmail games. Schumer thought that he could corner Republicans into folding, but instead, he got blindsided because John Fetterman didn't just break ranks. He exposed the weakness at the very heart of Chuck Schumer's strategy. Guys, then came the moment that no one expected. John Fetterman walked into the Senate floor and voted with Republicans on not one, but two critical measures. Now, first, he went ahead and backed a resolution to extend tax credits under the Affordable Care Act, proving that he wasn't abandoning healthcare entirely. But the real shocker, he cast his second vote. He cast his second vote to keep the government open on Republican terms. Now, this wasn't a soft affection. This was a line in the sand, and when reporters pressed him on why, Fetterman didn't even mince words. He looked straight at the cameras, he looked straight at Chuck Schumer's camp and said, "Win elections." In other words, stop fear-mongering, stop holding Americans hostage, and actually earn the trust of voters instead of demanding loyalty. That kind of honesty right there doesn't exist in Washington anymore. Fetterman knew this vote would make him a pariah in his own party, but he did it anyway. And in doing so, he sent a warning shot straight through Chuck Schumer's carefully crafted narrative. Now, let's be crystal clear about why Democrats are panicking today. It's because their true priorities just got dragged into the light. The narrative from Schumer was all about keeping the government running. But behind the curtain, what they really fought for was healthcare benefits for illegal immigrants. Now, I want you to think about that. At a moment where Americans are bracing for delayed paychecks, shuttered offices, and national instability, Democrats are more worried about securing perks for people who broke the law just to come here. That's not compassion. That is a survival strategy because here's the ugly truth. Democrats, they know that they're bleeding voters. They've lost ground with working class Americans, with black voters, with Latino voters. So their last hope is importing a brand new voter base. They're willing to trade your tax dollars, your healthcare system, and your stability for political survival. And Fetterman, he saw it. Fetterman called it out. He refused to carry water for a party that has openly decided that illegal immigration is its only path to power. Now, most people don't even realize this, but their Medicare plan changes every single year. Networks shift, prescriptions get dropped, premiums creep up, and the worst part, nobody even bothers to call you to warn you. That's why I partnered with Chapter, guys. Their advisors review every Medicare plan available, and they translate that fine print into plain English so you can actually understand what you're getting yourself into. Now, Leslie Taylor, she thought her Medicare plan was fine right up until Chapter showed her that she was overpaying by a whole $1,000 a year. Well, she got dropped from Medicaid, but Chapter guided her into a Medicare coverage that restored her peace of mind. So here's a real question. Are you 100% sure that your Medicare plan is still working for you? Or are you just hoping that it is? Now, most people aren't hoping anymore. Most people, they're already calling the phone number on the bottom of your screen right there, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. That phone number is 909-563-8279. And it's not just John Fetterman that's calling this stuff out. Elon Musk himself has been blasting Chuck Schumer and the Democrats for months, warning that this entire immigration push is nothing but a scheme to lock in one-party rule. Musk flat out said, he said once Chuck Schumer realized importing voters from the Democrats' surefire way to clean the power, he went all in. Look at California. Look at New York. States, once competitive, are now locked down Democrat strongholds, and Musk is warning that they want to scale that up nationwide. And so the timing couldn't be more brutal for Democrats, because here's Fetterman, a sitting Democrat senator, suddenly aligning with Elon Musk's point. He sees what's happening, and he knows they're trying to bribe illegals with benefits to build a permanent voting bloc. And by voting with Republicans, he's essentially confirmed that even insiders inside the Democratic Party see the scam that's happening. That's why Schumer is panicking. That is why the media is melting down. But this isn't just about one vote. Fetterman has been slowly pulling away from his party for months now, and the cracks are showing. He openly warned that Democrats constantly use labels like Hitler and fascist only stokes these dangerous extremes. He's posted on social media, political violence is always wrong, no exceptions. And get this, he backed it up with Axios reporting that left-wing terrorism is now at a 30-year high. Now, that post racked up over 5 million views. You don't share something like that unless you're trying to make a point. You see what I'm saying here? Fetterman is saying it loud and clear. His own party's rhetoric is completely out of control. They are fueling hate, they're normalizing violence, and he wants no part of this. So whether you love him or hate him, whether you agree with his policies or not, John Fetterman just did what no other Democrat dared. He called out his own party for radicalizing America. Now, while Fetterman was breaking ranks, President Trump, he was doing what he does best, trolling the Democrats into oblivion. He posted a meme that stripped their entire immigration scam down to its ugly core. In this meme, Democrat leaders admit that they've lost voters. They've lost black voters. They've lost Latino voters. They've lost mainstream America. So now their only path to survival is bribing illegal immigrants with free healthcare. Brutal, direct, no spin. And how did CNN and MSNBC react? Total meltdown. They rushed entire segments declaring Trump's meme racist, dangerous, fake. But here's the problem. They never disproved the point. They never explain why Democrats keep shoving benefits toward illegals while Americans are struggling out here. Instead, they screamed about the meme because Trump hit the truth too close to home. That's all he did. And in doing so, he forced them to ultimately show their hand. They fear his ridicule more than they fear losing voters. But Trump wasn't done there. Oh no. He actually turned the knife. So in a meeting with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, Trump deliberately placed bright red Trump 2028 hats on the table for everyone to see. Not 2024, not 2025, Trump 2028. He was mocking them to their faces, signaling that not only will he win now, but he's already looking ahead to the next victory lap. So when photos surfaced, the internet exploded. Schumer looked furious. Jeffries was humiliated. And then Jeffries lost his cool on C-SPAN, whining that Trump should say it to his face instead of through memes. Folks, when your top Democrat leader is reduced to begging for a president to stop trolling him online, you already lost the game. Trump just played them like a fiddle. Schumer looks so weak. Jeffries looks petty. And the MAGA base was roaring with laughter. This is how you know Trump is still in total command of the battlefield. And so if you thought that the Democrats only had to worry about Fetterman and Trump, think again. Speaker Mike Johnson just went head-to-head with George Stephanopoulos on ABC. And folks, it was fireworks. So Stephanopoulos, he tried the same tired script, pin the looming shutdown on Republicans, frame them as villains, and paint Democrats as the adults in the room. But Johnson didn't blink. He flipped the script and he nailed them to the wall. He looked Stephanopoulos in the eye and he said, the Democrats were ready to shut down the government just to guarantee health care for illegal immigrants, not veterans, not seniors, not working families, illegals. And so when Stephanopoulos tried to dodge, Johnson doubled down, repeating the truth until the host squirmed. It was a masterclass in message discipline, and it exposed the media's entire playbook as nothing but cover fire from Schumer's failing strategy. So now, here's why Democrats are panicking. Their old base is slipping away. For decades, they relied on black voters, Latino voters, and working class families to carry them. But those same groups are now saying enough. They're fed up with being taken for granted. They're sick of being told men can have babies, that kids should get puberty blockers, and that illegal immigrants should just get free benefits while American neighborhoods are falling apart. The numbers don't lie. Poll after poll is showing that Trump and Republicans are surging with black and Latino voters, while Democrats are scrambling trying to buy loyalty from people who aren't even citizens. This is why immigration is everything to them. It's their last gasp. And when someone like John Fetterman openly refuses to play along, it exposes the truth. Democrats are not the majority anymore. They're a desperate minority clinging to power through identity politics and manufactured votes. So here's the part that really stings for Chuck Schumer. It isn't just about one vote. John Fetterman has become the living, breathing symbol of Democrat defection. Every time he speaks out, every time he pushes back on their extreme rhetoric, he shows America that the Democratic Party is bleeding from the inside. Now think about this, right? This is a senator from Pennsylvania, a purple state that the Democrats have to win. And he just sided with Republicans in the middle of a shutdown showdown. I mean, he told Schumer directly, win elections. That's not just a soundbite. That is a gut punch. He says, stop rigging the game, stop fear-mongering, and actually earn support like everybody else. The question now is very simple. Will Fetterman stand alone, or is he the first domino to fall? Now, if other Democrats follow his lead, Schumer's entire coalition collapses. That is a Democratic nightmare scenario right now that the left cannot say out loud, but they all see it coming. Meanwhile, President Trump sitting back, calm, confident, and in total control while Schumer scrambles and the media melts down. Trump is doing what he always has done best, winning the narrative. He's trolling Democrats into oblivion. He's laughing at their panic. He's showing America that he never flinches under pressure. Now, here's the irony. Every meltdown from Schumer, every tantrum from Jeffries, every screaming headline from CNN only proves Trump's point. They're weak, they're desperate, they're losing. And Trump, he's having that last laugh. Now, the Democrats, they wanted to frame this showdown, they wanted to frame this shutdown fight as a Republican disaster, but instead, it has turned into a Democrat funeral march. Fetterman defected, Johnson stood firm, Trump humiliated their leaders with memes, hats, pure confidence. The message to America couldn't be any clearer. Trump is in command and the Democrats are in free fall. So here we are in October 2025. The Democrats are completely divided. The media is panicking. And President Donald Trump is steering the whole ship while his enemies are crashing and burning. John Fetterman, the last guy anybody thought would do it, he just stood up. He defied his own party, and he showed the world that Chuck Schumer's grip is slipping. That's not a small story. That is a political earthquake. Now, ask yourself this. If even John Fetterman can see through the lies, what excuse do the rest of the Democrats have? When a man who once carried their banner looks them in the eyes and says, win elections, that tells you everything you need to know about where this party is headed. And so now the tables have turned. Trump's laughing, Schumer's humiliated, Jeffries is mocked, and the Democrats are left clinging to nothing but excuses. This shutdown battle didn't just expose their weakness, it cemented their collapse. And the American people, they see it all. Like, subscribe, share this video everywhere, because the fake news will never admit it, but the meltdown that we're witnessing right now is historic. Trump is rising and the Democrats are crumbling, and the fight for America's future has only just begun.